Hello and welcome into another edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hickson. I am your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI and your host of the daily Sun Devil Insider Podcast. And I'm so grateful to be joining you on this Friday. We are now about a day or so out from Arizona State taking on Baylor in a massive men's basketball showdown that is sure to have a lot bigger implications than meets the eye going into this game. A lot more than anybody anticipated going into this game, even especially since it's between a team that's 14 and 12 and a team that's 13 and 13. So I want to preview the implications of this game and do a brief rundown on Baylor's best players going into the game. So first off, the implications are pretty simple. If Arizona State wins this game, there's a good chance that they are find themselves firmly on the bubble going into next week. Right now, as of Friday morning, ESPN's Joe Lunardi and other bracketologists do not have Arizona State in that explicit bubble range, which is from the last four buys into the next four out. So they are not one of the first eight teams out of the tournament picture as of right now, but that has a lot of potential to change in the next few days. If Arizona State beats Baylor and beats TCU, they find themselves in a good position to be at least considered in that last four out, first four out, next four out range at worst, possibly even higher because wins over Baylor and TCU would be wins against teams that are top 50 in the net on the road. Um, two more quality wins to add to your resume on top of wins over Oklahoma State, over Santa Clara, over Hawaii, over Texas. Um, only one bad loss on your schedule to this point. Your only quad four loss is to Oregon State, and that's usually considered a no-no to the selection committee. But when the rest of your losses are to either quad one or quad two teams, and most of them are competitive, it's not such a bad thing. And um, yeah, that's Arizona State's NCAA tournament hopes are very much alive, even if they remain relatively slim. They still have a clear path to getting into that discussion. And Big 12 standings, that is a going to be a massive point of emphasis over the next few days. It's hard to say how the standings will shake out because Arizona State is an 0-2 stretch away from being back in the if they lose their next two games, there's a good chance they get jumped by Oklahoma State and Colorado and Baylor. There's a good chance they're back in the bottom three of the league standings. If they win both games, there's a chance they're right there with BYU, UCF, West Virginia to get a serious to be in serious play for a first round bye in the Big 12 tournament, which gives them a bet postures them in better position, puts them in better position to ultimately compete um, and win a couple of games in the tournament. So this stretch is undeniably massive for the Sun Devils. There's a lot more attention on this team now than there was 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to continue to say that I'm confident that Arizona State finds a way to break through here. I've been saying this all year. I think this team is different than any team we've seen from Bobby Hurley. This team might even be different than the 2022-23 team because that team was full of players that had previously played together at different stops. That was a veteran laden team. This not to say this team isn't veteran laden because a lot of these players are very experienced, but there's a lot of players that came from international destinations, um, players that came from different walks of life. different athletic builds, different skill sets. Like it's a very diverse roster, and they are playing very, very well together. They've grown more comfortable by the game, and they are really three or four tight losses away from. I mean, let's say I've been mentioning this for a while, but let's just say they close out the UCF game, the Oregon State game, and one of the Colorado games, not even accounting for the other close losses. That puts them at 17-9 with a quality road win against Colorado, with a quality road win against UCF, and taking out that one bad loss they have. That would absolutely be an NCAA tournament team in the Big 12 and possibly a team that could be in conversations to be ranked. Um, So a lot's hinging on these next couple of games for Arizona State. Without further ado, let's get into talking about Baylor very briefly. So Baylor, they are 13 and 13. They are bottom three in the Big 12 with only three league wins. They are on the heels of a four-game losing streak. Not going to say that their non-conference, I mean, their Big 12 slate has been an entire abject failure because if you look at a lot of their results, I mean, 6 point loss to TCU, 7 point loss to TCU, 10 point loss to Iowa State, 3 point loss to Iowa State, 5 point loss to BYU. There's a lot of close games that, just like ASU, if they had closed those out, the season would be looking a lot different. But they've had several defensive lapses in these last couple of months of action. I mean, they gave up 92 points to Texas Tech. They gave up 97 to TCU in one of the games that they played. They gave up 99 to BYU. They gave up 90 to Kansas State on Tuesday on the heels of firing Jerome Tang. So defense is certainly a big concern with Baylor. To their credit, they did take down West Virginia and Colorado, two teams that Arizona State was unable to take down this season, but still, they have some major defensive concerns. Their offense isn't always there all the time, and realistically, there's a chance they might finish this season 1-4. I mean, Utah's the only game that I'm looking at and saying they absolutely should win that game. So we'll see how things progress. They still do have a dynamic guard duo that really drives this team forward when needed. Cameron Carr and Tunde Yusufu, both phenomenal players. Carr has taken a little dip in recent weeks. He was averaging north of 20 points a game, and now he's just averaging 18.9. Still a very good player. Uh, he's a player that can absolutely play Baylor into a victory. Uh, no denying that whatsoever. And he's done that on several occasions this season. But Arizona State is in a good spot, especially with the defense they've been playing. Tunde Yusufu is a player that's fascinating as well because he almost committed to Arizona State. They were part of his final three in his recruiting process in late 2024, along with USC and Baylor. He ended up choosing to go to Baylor, and he's had some really, really, really high upside performances this season. I mean, 24-point performance in his collegiate debut. He scored 20 points in a loss to Kansas. He scored 37 points, his career high, in their loss at BYU about a week and a half ago. He's had some really, really high highs, but he's also had some inconsistent showings. He shot 5 of 16 in their win over West Virginia. He scored just 14 points on 14 shots in the loss to Kansas State. So there's the moral of the story is that there's a lot of variability with this Baylor team. We'll see which Baylor team Arizona State gets Saturday, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Game is going to be broadcast on ESPN, and this is Bobby Hurley's chance to pick up another big time win over a top 50 net opponent. And I will be covering the game for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils podcast. And that is all for today. I will see you with an episode discussing the fallout from the result of the game tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in.